Growing fallout from the leaked Supreme Court draft opinion on abortion. People gathered across the country from both sides of the issue.
Demonstrations at the High Court went well into the night, and the president and advocates from both sides weighed in on the possibility of Roe v. Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts tried to calm the uproar, noting that the draft ruling does not represent the court's final decision, and the Chief Justice ordered an investigation into the source of the leak.
Here to break down the legal ramifications to the possibility of overturning Roe v. Wade is Professor Craig Johnson, a professor with Texas Southern's Thurgood Marshall School of Law. Professor Jackson, thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the draft and what this could mean if this is in fact their opinion on abortion rights across the U.S.
Well, it will be the longest standing Supreme Court decision to be overruled, the second longest standing Supreme Court decision to be overruled. From my research, the longest would be the Plessy versus Ferguson decision that legalized segregation. That was overruled by the Brown decision in 1954, but this would be the second longest. And it's been around so long that it basically created certain reliances in society with regard to a woman's right to choose and options in her life because of the longevity of this decision. All that's gone if this decision or this opinion is the decision of the court. I have no reason to believe that this is not the decision of the court. The opinion may be edited, it may be changed, it may be softened in some regard, but I think people watching listening to the Supreme Court hearings last December pretty much came to the conclusion, or at least the people who watched the court very closely, came to the conclusion that Roe versus Wade would be overturned.
So there is a contingency then of court watchers who maybe were not surprised by the decision, but maybe surprised by the leak.
Well, the leak is unprecedented. I was thinking, since I've been an attorney, I've never heard anything like this, and I don't think anything like this has happened in the last 100 years or more. Maybe in the pen and quill days of John Marshall back in the early 1800s, maybe some things leaked. I think there was a communication between a Supreme Court justice and the President of the United States in the 1850s regarding the Dred Scott decision, but nothing like this in Supreme Court history. This is truly remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. And Professor, let's talk about a timeline here. If this is in fact the court's decision, how fast would everyone have to be in compliance?
Well, actually what the decision does, it returns the decision with regard to abortion rights to the states. So there is really no timeline. States can make their decisions at their own good time. Nobody will be in violation of any rights because the right will have been overturned by this decision. So the states can do what they want to do on their own timeline. There apparently will be, there are some states that have issued, I think, and in Texas is one of them, that have passed what are called trigger laws that are designed to take effect if and when Roe versus Wade is overturned. Texas passed such a law last session, and under the Texas law, the ban would be absolute, with the possible exception for the life of the mother, and that would take effect 30 days. But what's interesting, though, is that a lot of the states that had abortion prohibitions on the day that Roe versus Wade was decided didn't repeal those laws. So there is a question as to whether or not those old laws could be enforced on the day after this decision comes down.
Interesting. My goodness, so many things to consider over these next few months. Professor, thanks so much for your insight, though. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.